My name is Naomi John and I'm one of the intervention support workers here at the Miskin Project. I've worked for the council since 2015. I was first employed within finance and I've worked for Miskin since 2017 when I started my apprenticeship, and I've been here till date. So I chose to do my job and work for the Miskin because I always wanted to work in children's services, and when the apprenticeships came out I was scanning through and seeing what was available, and I really just wanted something where perhaps I could utilise the outdoors as well and engage in families, and that's what Miskin offers, so it was a perfect match for me.
I'm Hayley Spiker and I'm a consultant social worker. So within my team, you could start off as an apprentice. So the local authority recruits people, especially in the area that I'm in, 19 and above, on a 2-year apprenticeship scheme. So within my team, at the moment, we've got 2 apprentices, and usually that's a rolling programme. So we've always seemed to have 2 apprentices in the team. There's also support workers, so within the service that I'm in, some of those apprentices have now gone on to be employed as support workers within the team or within the authority as a whole. We've also got intervention workers, then we have got social workers, senior social workers. In each team then we've got a consultant social worker. We've also got a performance and development team manager. And then we've got service manager then that manages the whole of the area that we work in.
When I started my apprenticeship for Miskin, the criteria for the job, there wasn't anything really specific. I think you had to have 5 GCSEs A star to C, and a requirement was that you didn't have a level 3 qualification in the area which I was going into, so childcare, because the apprenticeship supports you to get a level 3 qualification in children and young people. So to date now, qualifications I need to be an intervention support worker are the level 3 in children and young people, and then really the job supports you around the rest. You do training courses which are required for the role around working with children and families, so it is just that level 3. So when I finished my apprenticeship, I was then in a position where I was able to apply for the intervention support worker job, which I was successful in, and also it allowed me to apply for the social work degree course in university because I used my level 3 qualification to make sure I had enough points to get in. So I've been doing my social work degree for the last 2 years, whilst alongside working this intervention support worker role, the council have supported me to be able to get to a position where when I qualify next June, I'll be able to come back as a fully qualified social worker for RCT.
So when we're looking to employ someone, I think ultimately they need to be person-centred. They need to have an approach where they're able to work with a person if they're in crisis, or a person if they're doing quite well and just need support now and again. They need to be sensitive to people's needs. They need to be sensitive to people's lives and their lifestyles, and how they've got to that place. They need to have excellent listening skills. They need to be curious as well and quite inquisitive about people and like asking questions, because sometimes people don't automatically tell you their life story. Sometimes you've got to draw it out from them as well. They need to be very organised, because a lot of the time they're out there working on their own, so they need to be able to be good time managers as well as organise their own diary and fit people in, because that's another thing. You know, with these families and children and families that we work with, they need to be consistent, so they can't be letting people down as well, because a lot of people rely on you for that support, and they need to be available, you know, phone, face-to-face. They need to have, you know, be able to sometimes drop other things and prioritise something else at short notice.
Hi, welcome to Miskin. We're in Glencornell, which is our building. I'll show you upstairs first, which is our offices where we work from. So this is our main office room. There's loads more offices down there, but we'll just show you the main room for today, which is where I'm working. Because of COVID, we've got the red desks where we're not allowed to sit. We're obviously 2 meters apart on the desks which are available today. So this is my desk for today. There's our COVID buzzers, making sure we're 2 meters apart. Here's the normal setup. We plug in our laptops and we're away to go. So downstairs is where we bring people to come and do our sessions. We have a library room here, which is in use today, so we can't peek in there, but I'll take you down to the classroom. So this is our classroom room. It's a massive room, I think the biggest room in the building we have to bring people in. We do a lot of groups in here. You can see the ping pong tables at the back we bring out for our youth groups. We do art groups, parenting groups, a lot going on, and we can use it for arts and crafts and all of that sort of stuff. So this is another room which is really useful. It's our nursery. As you can see, it's a little bit more relaxed. This one's used for more therapeutic work or one-to-one sessions where there's a lot of emotional stuff going on. So it's a nice little setting. Usually, pre-COVID, this space was full of seating and we use it as our foyer where we greet everyone, and if we're doing big groups with kids, we would all sit down here and prepare for the sessions. I'll take you through to the next little bit. So this is our pool table, and obviously we've got a TV in the corner. We've got loads of game consoles, a Wii, a PS4, which we use for our youth groups to try and engage the children and just have a bit of fun, really. And the pool table comes in handy for that. So this is our big porch area. We use this a lot. If you spot the green netting in the corner, that's our archery setup. So in the shed, we have big targets, and we get them out in all of our archery equipment to do sessions with families or groups with young people. Outside we have loads of green space where we spend a lot of time doing bits of work. It's a really calming environment, really private, so people feel safe. Underneath the tarp we've got a little muddy kitchen, which we use a lot with our younger groups to do some mud play, a bit of sensory play to get everyone involved. It's really good fun, and we get the parents down here as well to sort of like teach them and coach them on how to play with little ones. So this is a really nice area to use for those types of sessions. By here is a really well-used area. This is our fire pit, little camping-esque type place. We do a lot of bushcraft, we do pizza making and all that sort of stuff for here, so it's really good fun, which gets the kids really involved. This is our pizza oven, which young people actually made in one of our sessions, so that's a good little one which we keep. So I'll bring you around now to the front of the building, which is where we started our little tour. And on the right we've got our mini buses, which we use for groups and we use to transport people back and forth. And also in the big green enclosure over here, underneath the yellow, is a big climbing wall. So it goes triple the height, and we get that out to do activities with the kids as well. And then on show we've got our canoes, they're there. I don't know if we've got some around the corner as well. And they're used for sessions with the kids. We hook them onto the minibuses and we take them to places like Brecon or Glynneath and do sessions out and about. So we've got a little climbing wall over here, which we teach the kids how to traverse across as part of doing the big climbing wall. And then obviously all the forestry behind, which we can use and explore as well. So now that we're outside, we can take our masks off because we're a little bit further away from the building and enjoy the fresh air and see some of the green spaces we've got around Miskin to enjoy. So we use our forestry a lot with our families. It's a nice natural environment to get them outdoors, doing things with the kids, which is non-expensive and they can recreate when they're home. So throughout the year, we use the seasons to do different types of activities. Around Halloween, we do a really good zombie walk out in the woods and get the kids having a bit of fun that way. In the summer, we can use the river facilities down there and do a little bit of gorge walking and get them involved that way. I think the possibilities are endless and the staff here are really creative and new ways to make fun. So my pathway to the job which I'm in now is that when I was a child, I was in foster care, so I was a looked after child. So I was supported by RCT's Care to Work scheme, which helped me look at different career paths which I could potentially take. And then I was supported into a job in finance for the council. Finance wasn't something which I particularly thought I wanted to do long term, but having a job like that in admin really boosted my skill set. And then after 2 years working there, I found the apprenticeship scheme and I thought, oh, this was my chance to get into children's services with a little bit of support and having that protective bubble. So I applied and that's how I got into Miskin. And obviously the apprenticeship served me well, got my qualification, and I'm able to apply for university using that while still being supported by the council and working on a part-time basis.
When you're recruited in respect of the apprenticeship programme, there's no real qualifications that are needed. But obviously as you progress up into a support worker and intervention worker, there's other things that they tend to look for. When you are recruited, in terms of the recruitment process, it's competency based. So when you fill out your application form, there'll be things there that you need to document in respect of competencies that you've met. If then you proceed to the interview, again, those questions are competency based. So they like to know about, or for you to give examples of where you've done that particular piece of work. For example, it might just be how you assess risk or something like that. So they like to know for you to give that example then of how you can assess risk, or a case where perhaps you've worked with something and it hasn't gone well. So it's things like that.
So my salary when I started as an apprentice for the Miskin project was national minimum wage, and that's still the same for all apprentices now. And then when I got my intervention support worker role, it's from 29,000 up is the salary. And then obviously when I qualify next year as a social worker, I'll be hoping to come back to RCT as a qualified social worker, which is on 35,000 up.
Okay, so in terms of the recruitment process, it differs dependent on what the role is that you're applying for. So in terms of our apprentices, following the application form, which again is competency based, they would be invited up into Glencornell, and they'll have a day doing practical sessions before they actually go on then to an interview. So in terms of the practical sessions, there's a lot of team building activities. We've got lots of outdoor activity areas, and part of the role of an apprentice in Miskin is doing outdoor activities led education as well. So part of it is social care, and part of it would be outdoor based with our adventurous activities officer. In terms of support workers, intervention workers, again, the application would be competency based. They would be offered an interview, and the questions would be competency based questions. Social workers, again, they would need to show that they've got a degree in social work, and it's quite important as well to document the experiences that you've had. In terms of senior practitioner and consultant or team manager posts, as well as the competency-based application and interview, they would also have to provide a presentation. So it'd be around a specific question. It might be to do with the politics of the day, it might be to do with a social issue, but yeah, they'd have to do a 10-minute presentation on that subject as well.
Continuing professional development with RCT I think is quite easy within, especially a team within children's services. They wanted to push you to learn more, to become a better employee for them and give more to the families we work with. I found especially within my apprenticeship I was completing my level 3 qualification with the training team, as well as having training opportunities within my team at Miskin. I think within supervision they're always pushing you to attend new courses. RCT have lots of courses on offer, I think weekly really, and you just have to pick and choose which ones suit you best, and you do that with your supervisor. And I've never had a time where I wanted to go on a course and I haven't been allowed. It's always pushing you to better yourself, because that's going to make better outcomes for your work. The best aspects of my job I think is just working with the people. I've always had it in me to be in a career where I'm person-faced and I'm supporting people for better outcomes. The best thing for me as well is the team. I could not ask for a better support team in Miskin and in children's services as a whole really. I always feel like somebody's got my back, and I know if I make small mistakes I can just own it up straight away and we can figure a way forward. I don't ever feel like I'm alone. I always know that there's someone with me, walking me through. There's always so much to learn from each other as well. I'm within a team where I'm probably one of the youngest, but that doesn't mean that people don't believe in me. They're still pushing me to excel, and I know that one day I'll be in the position they are, and I can do the same for somebody like me.